Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I want to begin with a simple question. How many of us truly feel fulfilled in life? We may have success, wealth, or recognition, but deep down something feels missing. Why is that? Because real change does not come from the outside, it comes from the inside. Today, I want to share with you three simple yet powerful tips that can completely change the way you live. These are not theories, these are eternal truths that great masters, sages, and spiritual leaders have emphasized for centuries. And if you embrace them, you won't just see improvement, you will see transformation. So open your mind, open your heart, and let's take a journey together towards a life filled with purpose, peace, and power. When we wake up every morning, the very first thought that enters our mind often decides the tone of our entire day. For many people, the first thing they do is reach out for their phone. They check their emails, their notifications, their social media. And before they even step out of bed, their mind is already restless, their heart already anxious, and their peace already disturbed. But imagine if we flip this around. Imagine if the first thing we did, the very moment we opened our eyes, was to remember the giver of life, to connect with the source of strength, to express gratitude to God for the gift of another day. Gratitude is not just a word, it is a way of life. It is the ability to look at what we already have and say, "This is enough, I am blessed, I am grateful." Too often we live in a state of scarcity, always chasing what we don't have, always worrying about what is missing. But gratitude shifts our focus. Gratitude opens our eyes to see the blessings that were always there but ignored. Think about this simple truth. Every day when you wake up, your heart has beaten through the night without your conscious effort. Your lungs have breathed in oxygen and released carbon dioxide automatically, sustaining your body without you even thinking about it. Your eyes open and you are gifted with vision, a miracle we take for granted. So many people in hospitals right now would give anything for one healthy breath, one clear heartbeat, or one pain-free morning, and yet here we are alive, breathing, and capable of doing so much. Isn't that reason enough to bow our head for a moment and say, "Thank you, God"? A wise person once said, "If you only had tomorrow what you thanked God for today, how much would you have left?" This one line can change your perspective completely. Many of us would realize that if gratitude determined our blessings, we might have very little, because we hardly take the time to express thanks. But gratitude is not about what God gives us. It is about how we perceive what we already have. Let me give you an example from daily life. Imagine two people who both wake up to the sound of rain. The first one complains, "Oh no, it's raining again. My plans are ruined, the traffic will be bad, and my shoes will get dirty." The second one wakes up and says, "How wonderful. The earth is being nourished, the plants are drinking life, and I get to enjoy the freshness of nature." The situation is the same. The rain hasn't changed, but the mindset is different. Gratitude changes the way we see life. Instead of life happening to us, life begins to happen for us. Another example, a young professional once shared with me that he felt stressed every morning because his commute to work was long. He hated waking up, rushing through breakfast, and sitting in traffic. But after learning about gratitude, he decided to change his perspective. Instead of being angry at traffic, he started using that time to listen to uplifting podcasts, spiritual talks, or calming music. Instead of resenting the drive, he used it as a daily classroom for growth. Soon, he found himself actually looking forward to the commute. Why? because gratitude turned a burden into a blessing. When you start your day with gratitude, you invite positivity into your life. You tell your mind, today is a gift and I will live it with joy. You tell your heart, I have enough, I am enough, and I am thankful. And you tell God, I may not have everything I want, but I trust that you have given me everything I need for this moment. Some people might ask, but what if my life is full of problems? How can I be grateful when things are falling apart? The truth is, gratitude is not about ignoring your struggles. It's about not letting your struggles blind you to your blessings. Yes, you may have challenges, but you also have strengths. Yes, you may face losses, but you also have lessons. Every difficulty carries hidden gifts if you are willing to look with a grateful heart. Think about it. The darkest nights make us appreciate the sunrise. Illness makes us value health. Failure makes us cherish success. Without contrast, we would not recognize blessings. Gratitude gives meaning to both joy and pain because it teaches us that everything is part of God's larger plan for our growth. So tomorrow morning, when you open your eyes, don't rush to check your phone or your messages. Take a few seconds to just sit still. Breathe deeply. Place your hand on your heart and say, thank you, God, for this life. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for this chance to make today meaningful. You'll be surprised how such a simple practice can shift your entire day. Gratitude is like a magnet. It attracts more reasons to be grateful. When you start with thanks, you open the door to joy. When you end with thanks, you sleep in peace. And when you live with thanks, you find that every moment, no matter how ordinary, becomes extraordinary. So remember this, happiness is not about getting everything you want. Happiness is about appreciating everything you already have. And the more we thank God, the more we realize we were never lacking, only blind to the abundance already within and around us. Most of us live our lives as if we are running on autopilot. We wake up, brush our teeth, eat, go to work, come back, eat again, watch something on a screen, scroll through our phones, and then sleep. And the next day, we repeat the exact same pattern. Days become weeks, weeks become months, and before we even realize it, years have passed. But here's the important question. Are we truly living, or are we just existing? Living on autopilot may keep us functioning, but it doesn't make us fulfilled. Awareness, on the other hand, is the secret that transforms ordinary routines into extraordinary experiences. Awareness means being present in the moment, fully conscious of what you are doing, why you are doing it, and how you are doing it. Awareness connects us with life. Awareness connects us with God. Think about how many times you eat a meal without actually tasting it. You are physically there, chewing and swallowing, but your mind is busy worrying about tomorrow's meeting or scrolling through messages. The food nourishes your body, but you miss the joy of flavor, the gratitude for the hands that prepared it, the awareness that this meal is a blessing from God. Now compare that to eating with awareness, sitting quietly, appreciating the aroma, chewing slowly, savoring each bite, feeling grateful that the earth, the sun, the rain, and countless people contributed to this food, reaching your plate. The same meal transforms into a moment of peace, joy, and gratitude. That is the power of awareness. One of the reasons we lack awareness is because our minds are always racing. We are either stuck in the past, replaying regrets, or we are lost in the future, worrying about what might happen. But life is happening right now. And if we are not aware, we miss it. Imagine attending a concert of your favorite musician, but spending the whole time recording it on your phone. You may have captured the event, but you didn't truly experience it. Life is like that. When we are too distracted, we end up with memories we never lived. Let me share a simple example. A man once told me he used to walk the same route to work every single day for years. One day, his child joined him and started pointing out things along the way. The sound of the birds, the flowers blooming on the side of the street, the smile of a fruit seller. The man was shocked because he had walked past those same places for years without ever noticing them. It was only when his child's awareness brought them to his attention that he realized how blind he had been to life's beauty. Awareness opens our eyes to what has always been there but overlooked. Another powerful aspect of awareness is in our relationships. How many times do we talk to someone but not truly listen? We hear their words, but our minds are busy forming replies, checking our phones, or drifting elsewhere. People can feel when we are absent. Relationships weaken not because of distance, but because of lack of presence. On the other hand, when you truly listen with awareness, looking into the eyes of the person speaking, being fully present without judgment, you give them one of the greatest gifts, the gift of feeling valued. Awareness deepens love. Awareness heals. In spiritual life, awareness is the foundation of connection with God. Prayer, meditation, or reflection is not about repeating words mechanically. It is about entering the present moment with full heart. Many people tell me, I prayed, but I didn't feel anything. And I ask them, were you truly aware? Or were you just reciting words while your mind wandered elsewhere? God does not need long speeches. He listens to the awareness in your heart. A single moment of genuine, aware connection with God is more powerful than hours of distracted rituals. Now, some people may ask, how do we cultivate awareness in daily life? How can we break this habit of living on autopilot? The answer is simple but profound. Start small. The next time you drink water, pause for a second before you sip. Feel the coolness of the water, imagine it nourishing your body, and say a silent thanks. The next time you step outside, take a deep breath, feel the air entering your lungs, and notice the miracle of being alive. When you talk to someone, put away distractions and be fully there. These small acts of awareness create ripples that transform your entire life. Awareness also helps us make better decisions. When we are unconscious, we react impulsively. Anger, fear, greed take control. But when we are aware, we pause, reflect, and respond with wisdom. For example, when someone insults you, an unconscious reaction would be to shout back, adding fuel to the fire. But awareness allows you to step back and think, is this worth my peace? Can I respond with calm instead of anger? That single moment of awareness can save relationships, protect your peace, and keep your dignity. One of the greatest tragedies in life is to look back and realize we never truly lived. We were always waiting for the future, waiting for the weekend, waiting for the vacation, waiting for retirement. But the truth is, life is not in the future, life is in this moment. And if we miss this moment, we miss life itself. Awareness teaches us to stop waiting and start living now. So let us remember, awareness is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It is the bridge between existence and living, between emptiness and fulfillment, between wandering and purpose. When we live with awareness, every breath becomes a gift, every meal becomes a blessing, every conversation becomes meaningful, and every day becomes extraordinary. Awareness is life itself. Without it, we merely survive. With it, we truly live. One of the biggest challenges we face in life is that our emotions often try to control us. Emotions are powerful, and if left unchecked, they can drag us into regret, conflict, and suffering. Think about it. How many times have you said something in anger that you later wished you hadn't said? How many times have you let fear stop you from taking an opportunity that could have changed your life? How many times have you allowed jealousy or greed to rob you of peace? Emotions are like storms, strong, sudden, and unpredictable. But here is the truth. While we cannot always control our emotions, we can always choose our response. And the best way to do that is to live by values. Values are like the compass of life. They don't change with the weather, they don't shift with moods, and they don't depend on circumstances. They remain steady and guide us towards the person we want to become. When you live by emotions, you live like a leaf blown by the wind, sometimes up, sometimes down, never stable. But when you live by values, you live like a tree rooted in the ground, firm, strong, and unshakable, no matter how strong the winds of emotions may blow. Let me give you an example. Imagine you are driving and suddenly another driver cuts you off. Instantly, anger rises. Your emotions scream, shout, honk. Show them they can't treat you this way. But then your values whisper, patience, kindness, and self-control are greater than anger. If you follow your emotions, you may end up in a fight, a road rage incident, or at least ruin your mood for the entire day. But if you follow your values, you simply breathe, let it go, and protect your peace. The situation is the same, but the outcome is completely different depending on whether you chose emotions or values. Another example, think about relationships. Sometimes emotions like pride or ego can destroy even the most loving bonds. A husband and wife may get into an argument. The emotion of ego says, don't apologize, don't admit you were wrong. But the value of love says, peace is more important than being right. If they choose ego, the distance between them grows. If they choose love, harmony returns. One small choice, guided by values instead of emotions, can save a relationship. The workplace is another place where this principle matters deeply. Imagine an employee who feels jealous of a colleague's success. The emotion of jealousy might push them to gossip, compete negatively, or feel bitter. But the value of integrity and appreciation would inspire them to celebrate the colleague's success and learn from it. That one choice not only strengthens character, but also builds trust and respect in the workplace. Now let's take fear as an emotion. Fear is one of the biggest barriers to growth. Fear whispers, you're not good enough. Don't try. What if you fail? But the value of courage says, even if you fail, you will grow. Even if you stumble, you will learn. Imagine how many dreams have been buried because people chose fear instead of courage. And imagine how much potential could be unleashed if people simply chose to live by the value of courage rather than the emotion of fear. Here's the reality: emotions are temporary, values are timeless. Anger rises and fades. Fear comes and goes. Excitement appears and disappears. But values like honesty, kindness, courage, patience, humility, and compassion, they stand firm. When we anchor our life to values, we no longer allow the waves of emotion to toss us around. We gain stability, dignity, and strength. It doesn't mean we should ignore our emotions. Emotions are part of being human, but we must never let emotions drive the car. We can acknowledge them, feel them, but always let values sit in the driver's seat. For example, when someone hurts you, it is natural to feel angry. But instead of letting that anger control your actions, pause and ask, what value do I want to uphold here? Forgiveness, patience, self-respect. That pause is powerful. That pause is the difference between reacting and responding. One practical way to live by values is to remind yourself daily of the kind of person you want to be. Ask yourself, do I want to be remembered as someone who was easily angered, easily jealous, easily afraid? Or do I want to be remembered as someone who was kind, strong, and courageous? The answer is obvious. Nobody looks back on their life and says, I'm so proud of all the times I lost my temper. But people do look back with pride when they stood by their values, even in difficult situations. Think about great leaders, saints, and wise individuals throughout history. What made them remarkable was not that they never felt emotions. They too felt fear, anger, sadness. But what made them great was that they consistently chose values over emotions. That is why their lives inspire us even today. So the next time emotions rise like a storm within you, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, do I want to be ruled by this emotion or guided by my values? That one small pause can transform your actions, your relationships, and even your destiny. Remember, these emotions are like visitors. They come and go. But values are like the foundation of your home. They hold everything together. If you build your life on emotions, it will crumble in every storm. But if you build your life on values, it will stand strong through every challenge. At the end of the day, we don't get to choose what emotions arise within us. But we do get to choose how we act. And that choice, made again and again, is what shapes our character, our future, and ultimately our life. In today's world, many people are chasing results, career achievements, financial success, recognition, titles, and material comforts. And while there is nothing wrong with striving for success, the danger comes when we become so focused on results that we neglect relationships. Because at the end of the day, results may give us comfort, but relationships give us meaning. You can own the biggest house, but if you don't have loved ones to share it with, that house will feel empty. You can achieve the highest position at work, but if you don't have people who truly care about you, that position will feel lonely. Think about this. When people reach the end of their lives, very few say, I wish I had spent more hours in the office, or I wish I had made more money. What they often say is, I wish I had spent more time with my family, with my friends, with the people who mattered. Results may bring temporary pride, but relationships bring lasting joy. Let me share a simple example. Imagine a father who works long hours to provide for his family. He tells himself, I am doing all of this for my children. But because of his business, he misses their school plays, their bedtime stories, their small everyday moments. One day, his child may grow up and remember not the money or the toys, but the absence of time, presence, and love. The father may achieve great results in his career, but if he neglects relationships, he may feel a deep emptiness. Investing in relationships doesn't mean neglecting work. It means prioritizing what truly matters alongside work. Relationships are like gardens. If you water them with attention, kindness, and care, they flourish. If you neglect them, they wither. And the greatest mistake many of us make is assuming that relationships will take care of themselves. But love, trust, and connection need constant nurturing. A simple, how are you? A warm smile. A phone call just to check in. A small act of kindness. These little investments build bonds stronger than any achievement. Think of friendships. How many friendships have faded simply because neither person took the time to stay in touch? Not because of anger, not because of conflict, but simply because of neglect. It doesn't take much to keep a friendship alive. Just a little effort, a little awareness. Sometimes a simple message that says, I was thinking of you today can mean more than 1,000 grand gestures. Even in professional life, investing in relationships is more powerful than chasing results alone. Think of the leaders who are remembered not just for what they achieved, but for how they treated people. A boss who only focuses on deadlines may get results in the short term, but a boss who invests in the growth and well-being of their team creates loyalty, trust, and lasting impact. People don't work their best for those who command them. They work their best for those who care for them. Here's another perspective: life is fragile. Results can be taken away in an instant. Wealth can disappear, positions can change, fame can fade. But the love and support of people around you, that is what sustains you in difficult times. When illness strikes, when failure comes, when losses happen, it is not your money or titles that sit beside you. It is your loved ones. Relationships are the safety net of life, and if we don't invest in them, we may find ourselves surrounded by success but still feeling lonely. Let me share a story. There was once a very successful businessman who had everything: wealth, property, status. But when he fell seriously ill, he realized that his phone was full of business contacts, but empty of genuine friends. People who once praised him for his success did not visit him in the hospital. The only people who came were his family, whom he had often neglected. It was in that moment that he realized results can impress the world, but relationships touch the heart. So how do we invest in relationships in daily life? It doesn't always require huge sacrifices. Sometimes it's about being present in small moments. When your child is speaking, put away your phone and listen with full attention. When your spouse shares their day, don't just nod absent-mindedly. Listen, engage, show that you care. When your parents call, don't rush the conversation. Give them time, because one day you may long for their voice. These small acts are the true investments that create bonds stronger than any material wealth. Even kindness to strangers is an investment in relationships. A smile to someone who looks down, a helping hand to someone struggling, a word of encouragement to someone losing hope. These small acts ripple out into the world. They may seem insignificant, but to the person receiving them, they could mean everything. At the end of it all, results give us a living, but relationships give us a life. Results can make us rich, but relationships make us truly wealthy. A person with millions in the bank, but no one to share life with, is poor. But a person with genuine love, care, and connection, even with little money, is rich beyond measure. So the challenge is this: every day, ask yourself not just, what did I achieve today? But also, whom did I connect with today? Whom did I love today? Whom did I uplift today? Because in the final analysis, people will not remember you for the money you made or the titles you earned. They will remember you for how you made them feel. And when we stand before God at the end of our journey, He will not ask, how much did you earn? But rather, how much did you love? That is the real measure of a life well lived.